video, I am going to make a very interesting content. Since we all know the fact that many Filipinos are so into South Korean dramas and K-pop groups, and I won't deny the fact that I'm one of them. However, many of us are having a hard time understanding them without subtitles. But don't you worry, because Uni Marianne is here to teach you some Korean phrases and languages. But before that, let us get to know first South Korea.
Nation on the southern half of the Korean peninsula shares one of the world's most heavily militarized borders with North Korea.
South Koreans are known for being so versatile. They can sing 나의 마음이 움직여 그냥 길을 따라 걸어가도 다시 여기 너의 앞에 오늘였던 나의 맘에 하얀 눈이 내려와 So I'm here and I'll be there. They can dance. They can act. 사랑해 중국식. 사랑한다고. 사랑한다니까. Now that you have a prior knowledge about South Korea, it is now time for me to teach you a Korean language 101. Officially, in terms of language variation, there are two standard types of varieties of Korean in Korea. The Seoul dialect in South Korea and the Pyongyang dialect in North Korea. Korean, also referred to as Hangul, is the national and official language of South Korea as well as in North Korea. The language is drastically different from the Western languages. Hangul is the writing system of the Korean language. It is made up of 10 consonants and 14 vowels, making it an alphabet with 24 letters. It is the official writing system of South Korea and North Korea, where it is also known as Choson Muncha, and it is used by the diaspora Koreans across the world. So, 준비되었나요? A Korean language? Okay, so let's start. If one of your bucket list is to travel South Korea, well then, you really need to know first these important Korean phrases. 안녕하세요, 저는 안입니다. 저는 외국인입니다. 안녕하세요 is for hello, 저는 is for I, 입니다 is for am, and 외국인 is for foreigner. 죄송합니다. 한국어 잘 몰라요. So you really have to look cuter to look more convincing. So 죄송합니다. 한국어 잘 몰라요. So you really have to use your hand gesture. 몰라요. This is the most important thing you know when you are in Korea, because you really have to look for CR. So CR in Korean is 화장실. So it goes like this. 화장실 어디예요? 화장실 어디예요? If it is your first time in South Korea, there will really be a big possibility that you will be lost. So you will say, 저길 잃었어요. 저길 잃었어요. In Korea, respect is very important because most of these street food vendors there are elders and they don't really speak and understand English well. So you really have to force yourself to speak Korean to look respectful. So when you want to order something like an udeng, which is a Korean food, you will say, 저기요, 이모. Imo is for tita and uncle is for samchon. 저기요, samchon. 저기요, 이모. 저 우딩 하나만 주세요. 저 우딩 하나만 주세요. So do you have in Korean is itsoyo. So for example, you want to order coffee, you will say coffee itsoyo. Coffee itsoyo. Or samgyeopsal, you will say samgyeopsal itsoyo. Samgyeopsal itsoyo. So nice meeting you in Korean has two ways. The very formal way and the formal way or the casual way. So when you want to say in a very formal way, you will say 만나서 반갑습니다. 만나서 반갑습니다. And the casual way is 만나서 반가워요. 만나서 반가워요. So now let us review it from the top. 안녕하세요. 저는 안입니다. 저는 외국인입니다. 죄송합니다. 한국어 잘 몰라요. 화장실 어디예요? 저길 잃었어요. 저기요, 이모. 저 우딩 하나만 주세요. 커피 있어요? 삼겹살 있어요? 만나서 반갑습니다. 만나서 반가워요. After teaching you some of the common and basic Korean phrases, I will now teach you some of the most common Korean expressions. Of course, I guess most of us are very fond of Korean dramas like Crash Landing on You, Legend of the Blue Sea, True Beauty, and Stairway to Heaven, and so many more. Hello in Korean has two ways, the informal way and the formal way. So when you want to say hello in formal way, you will say 안녕하세요. 안녕하세요. And when you want to say it in a informal way, like to your friends, you will say 안녕. 안녕. 어떡해. Actually, there are a lot of ways to say thank you in Korean, but there are two most commonly used. The first one is 고마워, 고마워, and 감사합니다, 감사합니다. 괜찮아요, 괜찮아요. So when you want to ask someone, are you okay? You will say 괜찮아요, and you will respond, 네, 괜찮아. So when you are amazed by someone or something, you will say, 대박. 보고 싶어, 보고 싶어, 오빠. 좋아해, 좋아해. 화이팅! 사랑해. 너 미쳤어? 진짜? So saying sorry in Korean has also two ways. So the formal way is 죄송합니다, 죄송합니다, and the informal way is 미안해, 미안해. 잠깐만, 잠깐만. 뭐라고? 뭐라고? 걱정하지 마. 잘 지냈어요? 귀엽다. So, did you learn something? Well, I hope your answer is yes. So, this is your Kiyokta Oni Mary and Maribong saying, Saranghe! Goodbye everyone, stay safe and God bless us all.